Hello, my name is Catherine Drummond and I'm with Gingerbread Girl Designs, and this video is on a stitch called the double fan. Now this stitch was developed by the needlepoint teacher Jean Hilton, and she created a number of different shapes and sizes of double fan stitches, all stitched in a similar manner. This one is 8 by 8 canvas threads, and it turns out to look like a bow tie on the diagonal. So let's get started. The first thing that you want to do is make a small enlarged hole in the center of the area where you want to make your double fan stitch. This is marked as an X on the stitch diagram that I gave at the beginning of this video, and I used my trolley needle, which is a type of laying tool. You can just use a really big tapestry needle if you have one, like a size 18, and you just push it into the hole to make that hole a little bit bigger. Now we're going to come up at 1 on that stitch diagram that I showed you, which is 1 canvas thread up and 1, 2, 3, 4 canvas threads to the right of this hole, and then we'll go down at 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to leave a loop of thread on top of the canvas. And now we'll come up at 3, and slide the needle under that loop and tighten that up a little bit, and we'll go down at 4. 1, 2, 3. And you want to take the time at this point to make sure that this crossover sits right over that hole. So if you take a little bit of extra time here to make sure that that's where that crossover is sitting, then you'll be happier with your stitch in the end. So now you'll come up at 5. Making sure again that this crossover lies right over that enlarged hole. You're not going to see that hole when you finish the stitch. It's just a marker for making sure that the center of the stitch stays in the center. So now what you want to do is slide your needle under this stitch at 4 on the stitch diagram, just under the stitch, not through the canvas. And we'll go down at 6. And then we'll come up at 7. And slide under the stitches at 6. And go down at 8. And whenever I say you want to slide under the stitches, you're just going under the stitches, but on top of the canvas. You're not piercing the canvas. Now we'll come up at 9 and go under, slide under the stitches at 8. Go down at 10. At 11, and under the stitches at 10, down at 12, come up at 13, slide under the stitches at 12, and go down at 14. Come up at 15, slide under the stitches at 14 and go down at 16. Come up at 17. Go under the stitches at 16. And down at 18. Come up at 19. Go under the stitches at 18. And go down at 20. And some people like to finish the stitch right there because it looks more symmetrical. And some people prefer to add one last leg that comes up at 21 just to finish out the corner. And go under the stitches at 20 and down at 22. So you can decide which one you prefer. Looking at this right now, I think I prefer without the last leg of the stitch, but that's up to you. And that is advice that you can use in any area of needlework. If you don't like the way that somebody else has designed it, feel free to change it to suit yourself. Change a color, change it, the way a stitch is done, whatever you like. So I'm going to take that last one out because I don't really like it. So that's one of the ways that you can make sure that you have happy stitching, and I hope that you do.